Right, hey guys, how are we doing? Checking out a different channel today. Got recommended, called NC Hammer 23. Seems to do a lot of Naruto discussion videos. Piqued my interest. And we're going to check out You Know Nothing About Itachi. Itachi's one of my favourite characters when it comes to Naruto, so obviously I couldn't ignore this. And then if you guys want me to check out more of these, or if this does alright view-wise and that, we'll check out some more. But let's see what we don't know about Itachi, man, because apparently we know nothing.
So it's come to my attention from numerous comments and actually a couple of emails and messages that I talk about Itachi, and more specifically the Sword of Totsuka and his Yada Mira, a lot.
Okay.
Sorry, my Boston accent slipped out on mirror there. That was weird. Saw at Dunkin's while driving through LA today, and apparently I relapsed. But because I talk about these things so much, people have asked me, how did he get these items on his Susanoo? How did he get these abilities in the first place?
Oh,
and
that's
I realized that
very
Itachi
interesting.
is actually a pretty misunderstood
Question.
hero.
That's really interesting. Yeah, how did he get them?
About the guy who popularized black fingernail paint on.
Hell yeah, he
guys,
did.
Please, for me, like this video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. We know a good amount about his life.
I like his personality. I like how
certain
bubbly he is.
abilities and what he did and where he was during certain times where the anime was going on and he was off doing other things. We learned this from light novels like his two, Itachi Shinden, Book of Dark Night, and Book of Bright Light, and also from data books and a little bit of manga deep diving. So
Okay.
I figured it would probably be appropriate if we cover what is one of the most interesting characters in the entirety of the show.
Hell
the way
yes.
that we just covered the legendary Sani. So without further ado, I give to you the life of Itachi. So let's start these videos the way that we always start these videos and answer the easy questions.
Okay.
Who is Itachi? He's the older brother to Sasuke, the son to Fugaku and Minato, one of the youngest ever Ombu captains, an actual
Say not Minato.
hero to the Leaf, who turned his back on his clan in order to protect the Leaf from what could have been the bloodiest conflict in its history. He is
killed his whole
widely
clan,
beloved by
man.
the Naruto fan base, and yet horribly misunderstood. So in order to make it easier for you to understand him, we're going to start at the start. I already said
Yeah, start at the beginning. Let's go.
Fugaku Uchiha and Mikoto Uchiha. Mikoto, who is a high-level Jonin Sharingan user, and Fugaku, who is the current head of the Uchiha clan.
Yeah.
And Fugaku was above a high-level Jonin. He was called Fugaku of the Wicked Eye. And
Of the
just
Wicked
like
Eye, that's
Minato,
so
he had a run
wicked.
on-site order from enemy nations. In fact, he was so powerful and so essential during the Third Great Ninja War that he was considered to be a reasonable choice for the Fourth Hokage.
Yeah, he was
even
in
though
the runnings for it, wasn't he?
Segregated to an outside part of the city where they could gain no prominence politically. But since we're talking about the Third Great Ninja War, let's talk about the Third Great Ninja War. It is essentially the
Because wasn't it him, Orochimaru, and Minato?
Essentially, the Leaf's
So we're in the running
biggest
for it.
enemy in the Third Great Shinobi World War was the Hidden Cloud. The Hidden Cloud infiltrated the Land of Fire, and skirmishes started on the border. And for a while, the Hidden Cloud actually started to march into the Land of Fire, starting to take over area. And because of this, multiple of the battlefields for the Third Great Shinobi World War were very close to Konoha. So Fugaku, like I said, the then current head of the Uchiha clan, decided to use this as a lesson for Itachi. See, Fugaku was in the war. He was earning his reputation as Wicked Eye Fugaku.
Sick.
But after the fights were over, he would take Itachi to the battlefields. He would show Itachi the mounds of corpses, but not for the reason you would expect. You would assume that Fugaku would show his child this to be like, war is hell, and you should try your hardest to avoid it.
Yeah,
And
don't do it.
Fugaku was bringing Itachi to the battlefields to show him that is a shinobi's role in life, to fight, kill, and die. But that's actually not what Itachi takes from him. He sees the mounds of corpses, and he does say he will get stronger. He actually promises to become the strongest person on Earth, but not to fight, kill, and die. Itachi wants to become the strongest person on Earth to eliminate conflict. And
Interesting, and that could be part of the reason why he joined the Akatsuki?
Because he's now been the Hokage through the Second and the Third Great Ninja Wars, and that's a lot of blood to have on your hands. And nobody says that Fugaku should be the Fourth Hokage. Itachi starts to realize the bubbling underbelly of hate that is growing in the Uchiha clan, and he's reminded of the ill omen and the bad feeling he felt on the battlefield. But this doesn't stop Itachi. He still has a resolute feeling that he needs to become the strongest person on Earth.
Some sort of purpose.
When the war ends, he starts training, and this fire to get stronger only gets stronger
when Sasuke's born.
Mikoto delivers Itachi's little brother Sasuke.
Wow, he's got something to protect.
Now, not only does Itachi want to get stronger to eliminate conflict, he wants to make a world where his little brother can peacefully.
safe,
And as
yeah,
he goes
wow.
to train, he gets noticed by a genin a few years older than Shisui. And him and Shisui
Here we
become
go.
almost like brothers who train together and learn techniques from each other. And ironically, these techniques needed to be used by Itachi much sooner than he had realized. Because I think you guys know what happens a couple months after Sasuke is born. Naruto is born. I think we know what happens when Naruto is born. The Nine Tails attack.
Yes, that's a big deal.
And the manga don't show you. Makoto and Sasuke are in the Uchiha compound while the Nine Tails is attacking. But a piece of debris flies over and destroys the building. And a piece of debris starts to fall towards Sasuke and Makoto. Makoto doesn't see it coming, but Itachi flies to their rescue and destroys the piece of debris and saves Sasuke and Makoto. At 5 years old, he was able to blitz over a piece of debris and save a high-level Jonin and Sasuke. But unfortunately, this night would actually be awful for both Itachi and his clan. Because even though Fugaku mobilized all of the Uchiha clan in order to fight Kurama in order to maybe possibly put him under a genjutsu to quell his anger, the upper brass of Konoha looks at them and goes, "Please go patrol our borders in case."
Yeah, they wanted to keep him away, didn't they?
Essentially telling the Uchiha to stay as far away
As
from
possible.
Kurama
Yeah,
as
they didn't want
possible,
anyone getting
because they
involved.
believe you're the ones who did this. And then after the fight with Kurama is over, they're uprooted and sent to an outskirt part of the village near the Naka Shrine, where the Uchiha clan originated from
Oh, wow.
to live. And this is where we see the Uchiha living during the anime and the
Ah,
manga.
okay.
Since the Uchihas weren't the people who made Kurama attack the Leaf Village, this created a lot of anger in the clan. And Itachi saw this, and at the age of 5, he watched them, his entire clan, his father, his mother, with disappointment that they couldn't separate their own personal feelings from what was good for Kurama.
Wow.
A 5-year-old had the emotional
Jesus.
intelligence to realize that
He's
your
very
personal
emotionally
feelings were different
mature,
from
isn't he?
the
Jesus
of the
Christ.
entire village. And then Itachi turns 6 and he joins the Ninja Academy. Naturally, he's better than everyone.
Of course he
and
is.
he's
Of
so
course.
good that everyone's intimidated by him, and nobody makes an effort to talk to him, except Izumi Uchiha. But, of course, Itachi, being Itachi, only wants to train with Shisui and spend time with Sasuke, so he's completely indifferent to Izumi's entire existence. But this doesn't off-put Izumi, and she actually finds it kind of cute. So
Oh, okay. Go ahead, lads. She likes you for you.
When Itachi's skills have drawn the ire of older students in the Ninja Academy, she comes to his defense. So he kind of sees this as like, okay, maybe I should start being nice to this girl, and also the fact that she had already awakened her Sharingan made him feel more comfortable around her. Because say what you will about Izumi, yes, when she activated her Sharingan, she immediately fainted right after she was done, but she was also one of the youngest people ever
Actually
to activate
do it,
so
right,
she
yeah.
just wasn't ready. It takes Itachi 4 months to pass through the Ninja Academy. The faculty looked at him and they're like, there's nothing else we can teach you. 4 months. He passed and was a genin.
That's amazing.
At the age of 6.
6,
also,
Jesus.
It's kind of implied that they passed him because they needed new ninja because of how many died after the Nine Tails attack.
Oh, right, so it's just like kind of replenishing numbers.
But as he was passing as valedictorian of his class, obviously, he was kind of confused by the presence of somebody, and that somebody was Danzo.
Ah, okay, here we go.
After he had gotten all congratulated by his family and gave him a sort of
So this is where Danzo starts coming in.
There's 10 men, 9 of them are healthy, and 1 of them has an infectious disease, and he's about to die. You cannot save him. Danzo asks, what do you do with this 10th man? And Itachi says, I would kill him so he doesn't affect the other 9 people. And Danzo liked that answer.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
At age 7, Itachi is introduced to his team, Team 2. He's teamed up
Team
with
2.
Tenma Izumo and Shinko Inari. And a man named Yuki Minazari is their Jonin, their captain.
Right, okay.
Tenma hates him because he's so talented, and Shinko tries to defend him because she's really nice, and this only makes Tenma angry. So they get into a fight, Itachi storms off and goes back to the Uchiha compound, where he bumps into Izumi. Now that Itachi is officially a ninja, he's actually been invited to the Uchiha's secret meetings. And this is inevitably what him and Izumi start talking about. But Itachi doesn't want to be a snitch, so he then inevitably goes silent, and they walk the rest of the way in silence. Itachi's first mission is then kind of the next thing that we can talk about, and it starts kind of in a panic. Essentially, the Hyuga affair happens. Nick, what's the Hyuga affair? Great question. I just did the history of the entire Hyuga clan.
Jesus.
If you want to know what the Hyuga affair
Cool,
is,
cool,
please
cool.
look that video and watch it. But long story short, Hinata has been kidnapped by the Hidden Clan, and Hiruzen and the upper brass of Konoha mobilized the entirety of their teams
To go get her.
for Hidden Cloud hostiles invading Konoha. It's at this point revealed that there's a spy from the Hidden Cloud in Konoha, and it becomes Team 2's first mission to capture this spy. They find the spy with relative ease because Itachi is a genius,
of course. Set Itachi on any kind of task and he's all over it.
But naturally, being an 8-year-old genin with no special abilities, he almost gets killed by the full-grown man. Itachi swoops in, saves him, and defeats the spy. And then, boom, they're best friends.
Of course.
Forward, Itachi has done nothing more important than the spy mission. And because Tenma and Shinko aren't necessarily anywhere close as powerful as Itachi, they haven't been signed up for the Chunin exams yet.
Oh,
Itachi's 8,
team.
he's in a rush to be a Chunin. But because Itachi has made their team so prominent and so effective, they do get a rather important mission. Team 2 gets assigned to escort the Fire Daimyo, aka the Fire Feudal Lord, through the Land of Fire.
Whoa.
But here's the thing. With the Fire Daimyo, there's gonna be some of his 12 pillars there protecting him as well. And also the
Ombu, of course, are going to be involved as well.
To make sure that nothing goes wrong. So Team 2 being there is largely symbolic. And when they're halfway between the Fire Lord Daimyo's residence and Konoha, they see a masked man walking towards them, kind of in a bouncy way, singing. A masked, bouncy man. Who do you think it is? It's Toby, aka
Oh.
Here's the thing. Because he's so nonchalant and happy, nobody's on guard as he approaches
Oh,
them.
I did not
That's
know this
why
happened. This is weird.
he's able to catch everybody under Genjutsu when he gets close. Well, that is everybody but
Except
Itachi.
Itachi sick. That is so sick.
All snapped into Genjutsu immediately. But what Obito didn't take into account is that Tenma's specialty was Genjutsu, and Tenma is able to break himself out of this Genjutsu.
Yo, sick. So Itachi and Genma.
The fact that Obito put Yagura, a Mizukage Genjutsu, so
Whoa.
powerful that he didn't notice it for years. Tenma then uses this opportunity when he snaps out of Genjutsu to rush after Toby and try to attack him. But he phases right through him, and Toby kills him immediately.
Whoa.
Remember what I said about Itachi? He never got caught in the Genjutsu because he looked away before it could catch him, because he was the only person on guard, but he didn't rush like Tenma did. And Toby actually complimented him on this
dead
for not
now.
being reckless. But as Itachi now sees the person who he had reconciled with and becomes friends with Tenma bleeding out on the
Oh
ground,
my God.
he realizes he has to attack Toby, who's already reassured him that he only wants the Fire Lord. What is this, Avatar the Last Airbender?
This is class.
The Fire Lord.
Whoa.
The Fire Daimyo. So Itachi attacks him, but just like Tenma, he phases through them. And as Obito is going to kill Itachi, he senses something. And that's Kakashi. Because yes, Kakashi had been one of the Ombu members.
Oh, sick.
Over the Daimyo. So before he can deliver the final blow on Itachi and end this video very early, he runs away because Kakashi has not only broken himself out of Genjutsu, he's broken all the other Ombu members.
Out as well.
While
Whoa.
Itachi had survived, he didn't come out unscathed. Remember, Itachi's entire life goal was to eliminate conflict. And he had just watched one of his closest friends die in front of him.
That's
in fact, when they returned to the Leaf, Shinko, his other teammate, realized that being a shinobi was not cut out for her. And she leaves.
She leaves the
She
team.
stopped being a shinobi. And Itachi's given a couple of days off to deal with the grief.
Of course.
In these couple of days, he tortures himself. Because he has trained for 3 years of his life to be as strong as possible, and he wasn't able to save Tenma. And it's actually at this point that he awakens his Sharingan. This is also torturous to him, because the Sharingan is the same eye that he had seen in Toby's face. So every time he saw his own Sharingan, he saw that back to the time when he couldn't save his friend.
Oh, this is giving me chills, man. Oh my God.
Yoji Aburame and Himuka Suzukaze. Yoji Aburame will be very important later. But the addition of these 2 new teammates does not change his Jonin's mind about letting them take the Chunin exam. And so Itachi's only way to improve his strength is to train with Shisui. But Yuki was doing this for a reason. He didn't want Itachi to take the Chunin exam because he knew that if he became a Chunin, he would be thrown into the battlefield. But Danzo, being Danzo, was realizing that if Itachi couldn't be on the battlefield, that Konoha was lacking in strength that it potentially could have. So he reached out to Fugaku, Itachi's father, and said, hey,
your son can just take the Chunin exams alone.
And Fugaku says yes, without even asking Itachi. And while Itachi
Danzo's a sneaky little bugger.
Chunin, something he's wanted for a long time, that way he can improve, he's concerned about what Fugaku and Danzo have planned for him in the future. Chunin exams were not hard for Itachi. You know that written part where everyone's supposed to cheat because the questions are so hard? Itachi just knows all the answers, and he completes the test so quickly because he knows all the answers that he spends the rest of the time watching all the other genin cheat. And then based based off the ways that they're cheating, he makes hypotheses, I used to be a scientist, about their abilities, and then makes counter strategies for how
Oh
to
my
defeat
god,
them later on.
that's
Itachi then
amazing,
finds
just based
out
off
that
what
he got
techniques
the
they're using to
second
cheat.
highest ever grade for the written test. The only
That's
person who
sick.
ever got
Oh,
higher
he's
was
a genius.
Minato. The second
Of
stage
course.
of the test gives all of the Genin 5 days to reach the center of the Forest of Death with 2 scrolls in their possession. Itachi heads directly to the center and bumps into a couple of other shinobi, specifically shinobi from the Hidden Mist village. He pleads with them and says, listen, I'm 9 and alone. I'm way stronger than you. There would be no other reason I would be here. He asks them to please just hand over their scroll because they're outclassed, and guess what? They laugh in his face.
Oh god.
But then when they
Oh
attack
no.
him, he turns into crows, and then he shoots a giant fireball at them, and then when they see his Sharingan, they say, okay, maybe he was right, and they
Whoa.
hand over their scrolls. And then Itachi completes the second course in 5 hours and 32 minutes, which happens to be a new record, so he finally beat Minato, which moves Itachi on to the third round, which, just like every other third round, is a bunch of one-on-ones. Itachi's first one-on-one fight is supposed to be against another Konoha Genin, who pulls out because it's not Itachi. Get him next year.
Yeah, not
And
fighting
listen,
him,
I would
no
do the
way.
same thing. But Itachi's next fight is against one of my favorite people in all of the Naruto light novels, Nemui. How would you say
Nemui?
that? I'm gonna go with Nimoy, as in Leonard. Rest in power, homie. So
Nemui.
Nimoy is from the village hidden in the clouds.
Right.
And he's got an ability very similar to Zenitsu of Demon Slayer, where he actually only fights while asleep. And this is actually super effective against Itachi because, one, his subconscious naturally
Can't do
dodges all of
genjutsu to him.
Itachi's attacks, and 2, his eyes are closed, so he can't get
Wow.
cast under genjutsu.
Whoa.
But Itachi's a genius, and he theorizes that because Nimoy allows his subconscious to fight, that his conscious brain is cowardly. So when Nimoy occasionally wakes up to see how the fight is going, Itachi catches his gaze with his Sharingan and uses genjutsu on him. He projects images of Nimoy's gruesome death to him every time he wakes up. And eventually it makes it so that Nimoy can no longer fall back asleep because he's
he's too
so
scared.
afraid to
That's
fight
sick.
Itachi.
That's absolutely
And after
amazing.
he falls asleep,
Whoa.
he just gives up. But since he already started off cowardly, and now he was even more afraid of fighting at the end of this fight, he is screaming in fear. And it's so blood-curdling that it actually starts the audience to scream as well.
Oh, God.
Guess who is absolutely loving
Danzo?
this? Danzo.
There we go,
who is
yeah.
in attendance. But what's really
Of course
cool
he
about
is.
this fight is it's the first circumstance of kind of Itachi fighting in a way that will become symbolic of the way he fights in the future. Itachi casts genjutsu. It's not Tsukiyomi because he doesn't have a Mangekyo Sharingan yet, but he casts genjutsu onto his opponent in order to break their fighting spirit. And this effectively achieves his goal of wanting to end conflict without killing people. I mean, sure, he has inflicted psychological trauma onto this child, but he didn't need to defeat this child physically. I always just thought that was a cool moment.
That is sick. That's absolutely sick.
Everyone is like,
Okay, let's stop throwing this guy at kids and just make him a Chunin.
the Uchiha are then ecstatic. They begin to celebrate and plan out Itachi's storied career as an Uchiha police force member. But Fugaku recommends something else. Fugaku says that they should break the tradition of Itachi joining the police force and that he should join the Ombu. At first, the other Uchihas are confused. Why would they send their most promising
Strange.
student away? But it's at this point that Fugaku lists out the reasons, most specifically it being the fact that Itachi would have an ear to the Hokage's every move. And he could then report the going-ons of Konoha back to the
Sneaky.
Uchiha.
Okay.
But it's at this point that Itachi learns a very valuable lesson because he speaks out to Fugaku and he says,
But the Uchihas are part of Konoha. So, spying on Konoha is just self-defeating.
This flies all of the Uchiha clan into a massive rage against Itachi, to which he can only apologize to. But this is the first time that Itachi has spoken publicly about the fact that he disagrees with Fugaku
loving
being
this.
the general
He's like, what do you mean
Uchiha
spy
sentiment
on
of the
ourselves?
Uchiha clan being separate from Konoha.
It's like,
And
no.
this was
It's like,
also when he learned that he was very solitary in this stance. So for 5 months, Itachi just goes out and is just the best Chunin out there, period. And Fugaku then takes this 5 months kind of as a resume and submits Itachi to an Ombu spot. Hiruzen and Danzo then discuss to see if Itachi should actually be a member of the Ombu, and they both agree that he should, except Hiruzen thinks that he's a bit too young. They agree that they should send him out on an Ombu caliber mission in order to make
Just to
sure
see
that
how
he's
he
in fact
fares.
ready for the Ombu then.
Fair,
So they
fair.
say take a week off missions, this is to Itachi of course, and train in order to get strong enough for an Ombu caliber mission. Only thing is, Itachi is already strong.
Yeah, definitely,
enough
he's
for an
already
Ombu
there,
caliber
yeah.
mission, so he spends the whole week with Sasuke, and he goes to lunch with Izumi once. At this
Nice.
point, it's largely implied they are dating. After the week
Amazing.
is over, Itachi checks in with Danzo, and Danzo says,
In order to make Ombu, you're gonna have to do this mission.
and this mission is an Ombu caliber level mission. It's actually an assassination.
Oh.
The assassination target is a man called Mukai Kohinata, an ex-Ombu captain and an owner of a Byakugan, but only in
Just the
one
one.
eye. I actually made a whole video about this mission if you want more details on it.
Interesting.
Check it out right about here. Actually, I'm sorry, he wasn't ex-Ombu. He was actually still currently Ombu, and he was selling Konoha's secrets to the Hidden Mist for money.
Ah.
Danzo knew he was a traitor and therefore wanted him assassinated. Itachi knew that he had to join the Ombu in order to get stronger, in order to achieve his dream of eliminating conflict, so he accepted the mission. And since Mukai is still an Ombu member, he's still being sent out on Ombu missions. So Danzo essentially reaches out to Itachi and he says, you can bring one person with you to assassinate Mukai. To
Shisui?
which Itachi obviously chooses Shisui.
Yeah.
Since Mukai is an Ombu captain, the owner of a Byakugan, and very proficient in Gentle Fist, Danzo deems it appropriate that Itachi goes on a mission with him first under the guise of doing Ombu stuff in order to get familiar with his fighting.
That is
so
interesting.
Itachi and him go on a mission to the Hidden
Whoa.
Stone, where Mukai actually has to defeat 20 shinobi from the Hidden Stone by himself. After this mission, Itachi starts to formulate how he's going to kill this absolute monster of a man, but he's also got problems at home. You see, Fugaku has now made an announcement to the entire Uchiha clan that Itachi will soon be in the Ombu, and that this line to the Hokage's movements is going to be very effective in their coup d'etat. The thing is, this is Itachi's first time hearing about the coup, and all of a sudden, the memories of when
Yeah,
was
he don't have a clue what's...
on
you don't have a clue about the coup. Okay.
Start rushing back to it. He realizes that a coup means there will be more conflict. It means
Yeah,
that
more
he
death.
will not be able to save his brother from the bloodshed that is to come, and he's terrified of that. And what's even worse than that is the next day, Fugaku reaches out to Itachi and says, I know you can take somebody else with you to assassinate Mukai. Take me. And that would have been bad for
Whoa.
Mukai. But Itachi doesn't want him there because he's trying to create distance between him and Fugaku.
Yeah.
And also, the
Doesn't want
next
to-
day,
that's such a
Sasuke's
difficult
first
situation to
day
be in,
the
Jesus
Ninja
Christ.
Academy, and Itachi wants Fugaku to be there for Sasuke to guarantee his happiness. Eventually, Fugaku relents, but this shows Itachi just how important it is to Fugaku that he becomes a member of the Ombu. The next day is the day they're supposed to assassinate Mukai, so Shisui and Itachi follow him around Konoha. They watch him leave shadow clones so he can make appearances in places while he meets up with his Hidden Mist comrades.
To give the
Eventually,
details and
when he's
that.
outside of Konoha, they confront him. And a battle ensues, and if you want a detailed imagery of how that battle went down, please, once again, check out the Mukai Kohinata video. But essentially, Shisui's able to catch him in a Mangekyo Sharingan Genjutsu.
Yeah.
Shisui has to use this because Mukai Kohinata is immune to weak Genjutsu like a regular Sharingan's Genjutsu.
Yeah, because of the
Except
Byakugan.
Since he was Ombu, Mukai Kohinata programmed himself to, if he ever got caught in a Genjutsu that he himself couldn't break out of, he would instantly slice his stomach open. This way, no secrets would ever be extracted.
Whoa.
And as he lay there dying, he confessed to all of his crimes so that his family wouldn't be prosecuted for what he did. With this mission being completed, Itachi is now part of the
Woohoo, we're in the Ombu, let's go.
Once he accepts the Ombu, he actually asked to be placed on Team Ro, aka the team that Kakashi is leading.
Ah.
This is because Kakashi had saved him earlier in life when they fought against Obito. But Danzo wants to protect Itachi, so he assigns somebody else to Team Ro with Itachi. This person wears a mask and is codenamed
Of course.
Suguru. Their true identity, though, is Yoji Aburame. If you don't remember that name, it's the person who replaced Tenma when he died
Yeah.
on Itachi's Team 2 team. Itachi doesn't believe that it needs protection, but Danzo tells him that,
Imagine if you died. What would the Uchiha think? Do you know how upset they would be?
and Itachi thinks, oh yeah, you're actually right. They'd be super pissed.
They'd be
about that.
pretty annoyed.
Probably think
Yeah.
that you guys killed him.
Yeah.
So on his way back from his first Ombu day, he bumps into Izumi. And
Yay.
Izumi, his pseudo-girlfriend, says, hey, congratulations for making Ombu, but I'm kind of afraid they're making you into an assassin. He's like, you're right, but there's nothing we can do
right now, yeah.
As Itachi spends more time
You're not wrong.
Ombu and more time on Team Ro, he gets closer to Kakashi. In fact, he becomes so close with Kakashi that he defends Kakashi when people call him Friend Killer, because he thinks Kakashi is an incredible A, friend, but B, leader. But that isn't all he's doing with the Ombu. Now that he has an ear to the movements of Konoha, Fugaku and the other Uchiha are pressing him at Uchiha meetings about what's going on. Essentially, Itachi then relays to them that there's no prejudice towards the Uchiha and that they're making up all of the conflict.
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? Why are you planning all this stuff in the background?
Personal basis and some jealousies, but that's it. The Uchihas decide to focus on the latter thing that he said, though, as opposed to the former. And once again get upset with Itachi when he says that they're making up the conflict that they see. But after that meeting, Shisui pulls Itachi to the side and says, listen, the third Hokage has reached out to me and offered me to try and end this planned coup, effectively making me Ombu just like you. So now Shisui and Itachi are going to work together to end the coup. And Itachi's first assignment on Team Ro and the Ombu is to keep an eye on all of the Uchiha with the use of hidden cameras. Essentially, the Ombu had placed hidden cameras all throughout the Uchiha compound. And on Itachi's first ever time watching these cameras through all these monitors, he realizes something. Itachi notices a man who would be imperceptible to most people sneak into the Naka Shrine, aka the Uchiha compound, and go for the stone tablet. This is the same masked man he had seen years ago. And years ago, he had hypothesized that he was an Uchiha, but now looking at him and identifying his presence, he realized he was correct. He hypothesized that this Uchiha would have to be somebody reported dead whose body was never confirmed. And the only person he could think of that fit that description was Madara. He didn't report this to anybody else, but he kept it in the back of his brain. And Itachi stays on this surveillance mission for a couple of months until he gets a new mission. Essentially, Itachi and Team Ro are sent to watch over a peace treaty signing between the Land of Frost and Konoha. Only problem is, when Konoha pulls up, the Land of Frost kill all of the treaty signers. So Team Ro then goes to retaliate to kill the people who killed the Konohanians. Itachi leads the charge and kills those who are responsible for killing his fellow Konohamians. Konoha Knights, people from Konoha. But here's the thing, at the peace treaty there was also people from the Land of Frost who didn't partake in killing the people from Konoha, and he wants to let them get away. He believes they're innocent, and he really only wanted to kill the people responsible. But Tenzo, aka Yamato, Kakashi, and Yoji Aburame, the rest of his team, cut down all of those people. And this hurts Itachi, like a lot. Because it reminds him that he's no closer to the objective that
he's still not anywhere near what he wants.
Which is the elimination of conflict through overwhelming power. He couldn't protect those that he deemed innocent, those from the Land of Frost who hadn't killed the people from Konoha. It's at this point that he realizes that he'll most likely never be successful, and he wants to stop being an Ombu member, but unfortunately he can't. His anger towards his involvement in the Ombu then spills over to his relationship with the Uchiha. He becomes vocal in Uchiha meetings, saying that you guys are making up the conflict against us.
Still again, sticking at it. It's like, I don't see what you're talking about.
The other Uchiha suspicious of Itachi, and the only solace he can find in the world is the time he gets to spend with Sasuke. But Fugaku's not the monster I've painted him out to be thus far. He actually sees that the duality of being in the Ombu and also being an Uchiha member is ripping Itachi apart. So he goes up to Itachi and he says,
Do what you think is best.
and Itachi says, I vow to not let anybody else tell me how to lead my life. And that actually fills Fugaku with a lot of pride. Flash forward a couple of days, and Shisui calls Itachi out to a meeting in the woods in the middle of the night. Shisui has been told by the Uchihas now to spy on Itachi, even though this did not come from Fugaku, it was voted on by the majority of the Uchiha.
Oh, right, so this is everyone, like, is starting to,
He also tells Itachi that the coup is going to be voted on at the next Uchiha meeting, and it's highly likely it will be approved. So Shisui says to Itachi that they need to intervene. Itachi then comes up with a plan to use Shisui's Koto Matsukame on Fugaku in order to change his mind about the coup.
Oh, wow.
He believes since Fugaku was the leader of the coup, he will eventually sway those around him to stop the coup. But Shisui says it's more than likely that those who most ardently support the idea of the coup will think that you are the reason that Fugaku was backed off, and you being Itachi.
His son,
Shisui says that Itachi should not be at the meeting that night, and so they decided that Itachi wouldn't be in attendance. Shisui's plan was to use Koto Matsukame on Fugaku before the meeting, therefore the meeting would sway in their favor. But before the Uchiha meeting, Danzo summoned Shisui. Danzo then in their meeting explains to Shisui that using Koto Matsukame will not stop the coup, it'll only postpone it. He then tells Shisui that his eyes would be better suited in Danzo's care, and it's at that moment that Shisui becomes paralyzed. Yoji Aburame emerges from the shadow and reveals to Shisui that he has gotten a paralytic and poisonous bug under Shisui's skin. So as Shisui stands there, completely frozen, Danzo plucks one of his eyes out of his face.
Jesus.
His pain snaps Shisui out of his paralysis and he runs away. Only problem is he is still heavily poisoned, fatally poisoned. And Danzo orders that Yoji Aburame and the rest of the Ombu that were in attendance kill Shisui. He doesn't want him to reveal what he had done to Itachi. But here's the thing, Itachi is waiting in the same place that he had met with Shisui, and he was gonna wait there until the Uchiha clan meeting was over so he could hear about what a great success it was. Only problem is, Shisui pulled up a couple hours early in one eye short.
Yeah.
Told him everything that happened, and now the coup was unavoidable. He then summons a passing crow and pulls out his last remaining eye and puts it into the crow, and then tells the crow to follow Itachi everywhere he goes. It's at this point that Shisui actually tells Itachi how he awoke his Mangekyo Sharingan. During the Third Great Ninja War, Shisui was on a mission with a couple of Geni that was way too difficult for Geni, and him and his closest friend at the time were running away from enemies, but his closest friend fell behind, and Shisui made no attempt to save him. Shisui
I remember this story.
killing his closest friend to escape. That's actually what awoke his Mangekyo Sharingan. And while Shisui didn't actually have to kill his best friends, he actually let the enemy kill his
him.
best friends because he was jealous of that boy's ability.
Yeah, he thought he was way too strong, and then it's afterwards it's like, whoa.
To Itachi that Yoji Aburame's poison will kill me, but you can kill me first and awaken your Mangekyo Sharingan. So Itachi slowly approaches Shisui with tears in his eyes and kills him. And as Shisui's body falls into a waterfall, Itachi can feel the Mangekyo Sharingan pulsing in his eyes. Believe it or not, the next day Itachi is very upset. And you know
Of course, yeah, believe it or not. Really? My god, I thought he would have been well over the moon about everything that's been happening.
Because naturally they were suspicious of him because Shisui had been put on post as a spy for Itachi. Now he's mysteriously
gone,
so
yeah.
Itachi attacks them. I would have done the same thing. It's at this point, though, that Fugaku, who has separated Itachi from the three policemen, realizes that Itachi is sided with Konoha. This is a problem because the coup cannot succeed without Itachi.
Yeah, they need him because he's so
Fugaku
goddamn powerful.
A bit later, Izumi stops by in order to find Itachi, and Fugaku sits her down and asks her to give Itachi the support that he wished he had. Flash forward to Itachi's 12th birthday. He has now been upgraded to Ombu Captain. This is because he now was in charge of making sure the coup didn't happen like Shisui was. Hiruzen actually doesn't want to make him an Ombu Captain because technically you have to be 13, but Danzo's like, we'll just bend the rules.
Again. It's like, you know, he just enters by himself for the training exams, whatever. Oh, we can do this or the other. He can join Ombu, just send him on a mission.
Why did you murder him? For which Danzo answers honestly. He says that Shisui's plan wouldn't have worked, and that his eyes were better suited in Danzo's hands. Danzo then begins to list out ways that would be better to stop the coup than what Shisui had planned. And slowly Danzo and Itachi begin to realize that the only true way to stop the coup is to eliminate the
clan.
And as Itachi's leaving this mission, Yoji Aburame, who has been masked as Suguro this entire time, reveals his identity to Itachi. He tells him that Danzo placed him in the Ninja Academy to keep an eye on Itachi from day one. And that he knows that Itachi wants to kill Danzo, but he shouldn't, because Danzo has taken sole responsibility for many deplorable things in Konoha's history, so killing him will be harmful to Konoha. It's at this point that
He's like protecting Konoha in a really dark,
Naruto's identity as
nasty way in the background.
In order to make a rallying point of hate in Konoha to bring them back from the brink of destruction. Danzo is the evil MVP. Itachi then spends the next year collecting information on the Uchiha, and now all of the Uchiha hate him because he no longer attends the meetings. Him and Fugaku get into verbal sparring matches all the time about the future of the Uchiha, and Izumi pleads with Itachi to continue trying to sway Fugaku, but he says it's too late. But Itachi has been keeping an eye on all of the Uchihas with these cameras. And using these cameras, he's now figured out that they plan to do the coup in 10 days. He brings this information to Hiruzen, to which Hiruzen asks, can you stall him?
Yeah, we don't want this to happen.
Reach out to the Uchiha to stop the coup. But Danzo reaches out to Itachi after that meeting and says he's not going to be able to accomplish anything. You should just go through with our plan of eliminating the Uchihas because that's what Hiruzen's gonna fall onto as an answer in the end. Itachi
Eventually.
agrees, because why not? Itachi continues to observe the clan through the cameras, and one day he realizes everybody from the clan has left the Naka Shrine in order to get ready for the coup. It's at that point that he breaks into the Naka Shrine to do some investigating, but he finds the Masked Man in the Naka Shrine looking at the stone tablet. He confronts the Masked Man, calling him Madara Uchiha, and asks all about his planned vendetta against Konoha, knowing Madara's history. Obito doesn't deny any of this, and it's at this point that Itachi says, since you hate Konoha, you should help me eliminate the clan. And Obito nonchalantly agrees. They plan to do the massacre the night before the coup, because all of the Uchiha will be in the Uchiha compound.
They'll all be there.
So they're all together and ready to fight in the morning. And when the downfall, is what it's called, begins, Itachi makes his first target Izumi, his girlfriend. Uses Tsukiyomi, the first
Makes
time
her
he's ever used his
live out a nice life, doesn't he, before he kills her?
And in 1/100th of 1,000th of 1 millionth
Yeah, I like this bit of the
a
story.
second, Itachi has Izumi live an entire lifetime with him, where they have kids and grandkids, all the way
So nice.
where she dies of natural causes in the end. And dying of natural causes in the illusion tricks her body to dying of natural causes in the real world. But before she dies, she falls into his arms and says, "Thank you for loving me." And then she's dead. It's at this point that Obito and Itachi enter the compound on opposite sides. Itachi offers up to deal with as many of the women and children as possible. But Obito says he shouldn't do this, because he's already burdening himself with so many treacherous deeds. So Obito actually goes to kill all of the non-fighting women and children, and Itachi is assigned to killing the fighting Jonin and men.
Right.
Itachi tries to kill the people he respects quickly and painlessly. He even
I didn't know
allows
Obito was
some
involved in
kids
this. That's
to fight
mad.
back. But the people who were ardent supporters of the coup and pushed Fugaku into making sure the coup happened, Itachi killed slowly and very painfully.
Wow.
Once everybody but Itachi's parents are dead, he takes a second. He finds Sasuke walking home from school and basks in his last moments of innocence before he sees what's happened. He then rushes to his house to beat Sasuke there. He finds his mother and his father waiting for him there. And they don't accept his apology, but they also don't fight back. Fugaku apologizes, but also tells him that he's proud of how strong that Itachi has gotten, and that he believes so ardently in Konoha. He tells Itachi that he thinks one day he could have been the Hokage, reuniting the Uchiha and Konoha finally. And before Itachi kills both of them, they only ask that he keeps an eye on Sasuke.
Sasuke,
It's
yeah.
at this point that Sasuke finds Itachi standing over his parents' body, and Itachi puts into motion a plan that he has for Sasuke. Essentially, Itachi's plan is to make Sasuke hate him so much that he gains an
He'll
incredible
just
amount
want
of power,
to hunt
and then
him
eventually
down,
kills
yeah.
Itachi, becoming a hero in Konoha's eyes. But this is agonizing to Itachi. But it actually works so well that Sasuke rushes him immediately and tries to attack him. And he actually does hit him, but he hits him on the forehead protector. It's actually a canon little fun fact that Itachi didn't scratch out his own Konoha leaf band. No, it was actually Sasuke who did it while attacking
Yo.
him. Itachi then escapes into the night, but fears that Sasuke saw him crying, which would destroy his entire plan. Itachi then gets into a disguise and finds Danzo, who has now begun to collect the bodies of all of the Uchiha members. Where do you think he got all
Yeah,
those eyes?
makes sense.
Itachi looks at him and says, "If you ever lay a hand on Sasuke, I will reveal everything you've ever done." And then he goes over to Hiruzen, who has told him that he has stripped Danzo of all authority for what he pushed Itachi to do. Itachi then relies on Hiruzen that he will be going to the Akatsuki in order to keep an eye on them for Konoha. And as Itachi is leaving the village, he realizes he's been followed by somebody, and that somebody is Yoji Aburame, the person who killed Shisui. Itachi knows he's being followed. In fact, once he gets out of Konoha, he turns around and he casts Tsukiyomi onto the insects in Yoji Aburame's body. This freezes Yoji immediately in his tracks, and as Yoji stands there, frozen, his bug stuck in Tsukiyomi, just like how Shisui was frozen in front of him as Danzo plucked out his eye. Itachi activates Amaterasu and watches him burn to death. It's at this point that Obito actually takes Itachi to the village hidden in the rain to meet up with the Akatsuki.
Oh
And
my
the rest is the
God.
story of Naruto. But we were just talking about a couple of abilities that I think we should really dive into.
Jesus.
Itachi. Most importantly, Tsukiyomi, Amaterasu, and Susanoo. Because those three things are actually very reflective of the personality and upbringing I just told to you. Tsukiyomi is meant to reflect Itachi's early idealism. By placing people into a genjutsu that only lasts 1 second in the real world, but 72 hours in their brain. Itachi is able to break the fighting spirit of people who are massively powerful, like Kakashi. In fact, Tsunade needs to cast medical ninjutsu onto Kakashi's brain to bring him back from essentially comatose. Itachi can use this in order to create a world where he is the strongest person. All he has to do is make eye contact with people vastly stronger than him in order to stop them from bringing conflict. If Itachi could use this on the right people, he could stop conflict from ever rising again. Imagine he got this to the Hokages and broke their will to fight. Hokage, who's afraid of battle, of death, of all of these things, will seek for peaceful resolution. And that's why Tsukiyomi fits him so well. In fact, Tsukiyomi is actually the god of the moon in Japanese mythology. While Itachi's other ability, Amaterasu, is actually the god of the sun. But Amaterasu means something else for Itachi. Amaterasu represents Itachi's loss of that idealism. Amaterasu, as an ability, shoots a black flame, and if it hits you, you burn
eternally until it's
There is no room for pity in that. Yes, Itachi can stop the jutsu from killing you by deactivating it. This is an ability that if he hits you with, you are dead. Easy as that. And painfully so. But think about how he awoke his Mangekyo Sharingan ability. By losing one of the closest people on Earth to him. Something that he was actively trying not to do. But just because he lost Shisui didn't mean he still didn't want to make a world that was conflict-free for Sasuke, which is why there's such duality in his eyes' abilities. But let's talk about the third deity, Susanoo. Susanoo is the god of storms in Japanese mythology, and somebody who awakens to Mangekyo Sharingan is able to manifest a Susanoo. And Itachi's is one that I talk about a lot. Most importantly, because he has two very interesting abilities that come along with the Susanoo. The Yata Mirror and the Totsuka Blade. People wonder how he got these two things. Did he find them somewhere? Did he collect them? Is it a jutsu? But it's none of those things. As you awaken a Susanoo, you get your Susanoo. You don't collect new Susanoo items. Therefore, your Susanoo is a manifestation of your spirit. And Itachi Susanoo makes a lot of sense. The Yata Mirror is a mirror that will change its chakra nature to reflect any ninjutsu that is being shot at it. So, in essence, he has a Susanoo shield that can block all ninjutsu. But think about that at its core fundament. He has a shield that can withstand anything. Much like how Itachi has had to withstand everything. His entire
It's an extension of his personality.
He had to take hate, anger, jealousy, and reflect all of it in order to protect and create a world.
And then the sword sucks everything in.
He has the sword of Totsuka. A sword that if you run your enemies through, it seals them into a genjutsu world called the world of drunken dreams. Doesn't matter who you are, if you get pierced with this sword, you're gone. But think about that. Sword that can defeat anyone. That is what Itachi is. A sword that was used to defeat everybody. Where this gets confusing is the fact that Orochimaru is searching for the sword of Totsuka. But we know that Naruto relies heavily on Japanese mythology. I mean, Tsukiyomi, Susanoo, Amaterasu. And in Japanese mythology, many higher-ups in the god realm have the sword of Totsuka. It's a very common item amongst them. So Orochimaru wasn't looking for the sword of
specifically
Totsuka that Itachi had. He was just looking for one for himself. In fact, in Japanese mythology, Susanoo, the storm god, steals his sword of Totsuka from an 8-headed snake. You want to guess that snake's name? Yamada no Orochi.
There you go, wow.
That's his backstory, why he has his weapons, his motivations, all of it. I hope this video has allowed you to understand better who Itachi is as a character.
That video is amazing, this is incredible.
Character, you know, being a double agent the whole time, and that whole character arc, and being incredibly well written. But there's a lot of hidden motivations that people don't understand about him. But if you're sitting here right now at the end of this video, you do. This is going to end up being one of the longest videos I've ever created, so if you liked it, please, for me,
boss,
like
absolutely
the video,
boss.
Subscribe to the page and hit that noti bell. My God, I didn't do that at the beginning, did I? I've been filming for like 4 hours. Did I do that at the beginning? Mr. Editor Man. Mr. Editor Man, if I didn't do it at the beginning, listen, use the next clip in the beginning, okay? But also leave it in at the end for a kind of Easter egg for those who finish the video, okay? Okay? Viewers, we got this? Listen, I'm not saying that the coup would have been a good idea, but when you consider the fact that Danzo was straight up abducting kids and making them into brute monsters, and also that the third had caused 2 shinobi world wars, like, maybe we do give the Uchiha a chance at running this place.
Yeah, that video really, like, at times gave me chills, man. Like, there's bits in there that I already knew, but there were some big bits in there that I had no clue about. Like, no clue at all. I didn't know that Obito was there during the, you know, the clan being taken out. That was something I had no clue about. That was brilliant. He told that so well. And, yeah, when he was talking about Itachi just burning that guy to death because he was the one that killed Shisu, he was just like, whoa. And then I didn't realise Obito popped up every now and then in other parts as well. So that was really good. And yeah, I might check out some more NC Hammer videos. I'm just testing the water with some things. And yeah, thank you to my patrons. If you want to have your name at the end of every video I upload, link is in the description to the Patreon page. $1 a month is all I ask to help support the channel. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you guys very much for that. Thank you all for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already, leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys, all you guys, next time.